Konnichiwa and welcome to episode 30 of the Leadership Japan podcast, and I am your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, president of Carnegie Training Japan, and much more importantly, you are a student of leadership, highly motivated to be the best in your business field. If you would like to have your own access to 102 years of the accumulated wisdom of Dale Carnegie training through free white papers, guidebooks, reports, training videos, blogs, course information, plus much, much more, then go to japan.dalecarnegie.com. Today's topic is OJT, on-the-job training, is dead. There is a silent tectonic shift taking place in Japan. The lost decade, actually now into its third decade, has seen stasis in so many fields in this country, including in investment in human capital productivity. White-collar workers and the whole service sector in general have never been a burning light on the hill here for efficiency. Lack of investment in people has seen the formal training internal follow-up nexus break down. The OJT, that is the on-the-job training construct, has become a parody of a reasonable idea, with the untrained, incompetent, and mediocre leading the corporate charge. Knowledge, insight, and experience coalesce into a formidable array, and smart companies figure out the means to sustain this through training. The lack of investment has seen OJT become the sole default, but the OJT juice has dried up. The stimulation of the new has given way to the banality of the outdated. Clueless leaders have been cluing in successive generations. So now we have entire brigades of seniors who have not had to confront a new idea about leadership in the last 2 decades. What we are finding in our discussions with even some of the crustiest, most traditional Japanese companies is a realization that they have fully tapped out the ancient injections of formal training from 20 or 30 years ago, and that OJT is killing them. They optimistically seek training for their senior ranks to catch up. There are a few tricks these old dogs can learn, though. They are not battle ready for confronting the new. Training and learning are not the same thing. For most HR people in Japan, though, training is a box-ticking exercise. Where the training was delivered, mission accomplished. Did anyone actually use what they were taught and make changes to their modus operandi? Was there any experimentation with what was imparted to test it against their company's reality? Was there any learning follow-up, even as simple as buying and reading books on leadership, management, or sales? The leadership style these seniors have grown up with has been the tough love school minus the love bit. Like many countries, modern leadership training routes stretch back to the military model from the Second World War. Most countries have moved on from this model, but elements of the imperial forces linger here, mainly thanks to OJT, on-the-job training. Giving orders, not praise. Condemning, not complimenting. Criticizing mistakes, not motivating. This is how they were educated through OJT. So if it was good enough for them, then it was good enough for this generation as well. Actually, it isn't. This generation is a different cat. The other exciting piece of the puzzle is that future generations are going to be in short supply. They just aren't making as many as before. Universities are rapidly dropping their standards as they compete for fewer fee payers. The raw material entering the company each April isn't the same goods anymore. Universities here, never a powerhouse of education and learning at any time in living memory, will continue to have marginal impact on the intellect of those in their care. Companies will be buying in cosseted 22-year-old high school brains, but less brainy. Imagine this generation being OJT primed by tough love managers as part of their corporate finishing school buff into diamonds. Scary. More and more Japanese companies see this as a scary prospect as well. Actually, these young people are baffling them. They have attitudes which seem incomprehensible and disturbing. Nearly 40% of them are jumping ship in their third and fourth year with the company, voting with their feet and heading off to greener pastures. The cost and disruption of this youth exodus is huge. Companies are starting to work it out. The OJT solution for training this generation just isn't working. Apart from induction training, demand for leadership training in the senior and middle ranks is well up when compared to 3 years ago. Communication skills get the gold medal for burning need. Leaders who can inspire, arouse, motivate, enroll, engage, and incorporate are what they are seeking. Few of those here on the ground in Japan, though. Yet the younger generation is driving this requirement, whether companies like it or not. Sales is the other area where OJT has become a guaranteed death spiral. Even worse than brain-dead OJT is the fact that globally, most salespeople are not trained. Japan is no exception. So, it is either ineffectual OJT on-the-job training or no training whatsoever. Both to be avoided if you are thinking about stealing a march on your competition. The understanding that knowledge of questioning skills, linking features, benefits, applications, and evidence, handling objections, getting the order, upselling and cross-selling might be something better learnt than wished for, is slowly but surely sinking OJT as the Japan default. One segment of Japan's revival is starting now, silently from within. Many are breaking out the formal training defibrillators and applying them to the ebbing corporate pulse here in Japan. OJT is out. Formal training is in. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan podcast. Remember to access your Dale Carnegie Training free white papers, guidebooks, training videos, blogs, course information, plus much, much more. Then go to japan.dalecarnegie.com.